Hey, it's Marthea, the MSW coach, and I hope your day is going well. I am recording this podcast episode on my new microphone. I'm also recording this on for YouTube because I will possibly release this on YouTube at some point. I most likely will. So I hope your day is going well. Today is the observance of Dr. King's birthday. I spent my morning in deep reflection about his body of work and my role in helping to carry on the work that he continued. So my morning was spent listening to two of his sermons and really just reflecting deeply. My afternoon was spent napping because I was off from work in observance of the holiday, of course. So I slept from noon until about 4 p.m. here on the East Coast, and it was great. And so I'm now up. I just wrapped up a meeting with one of my cohort 7 micro to macro alum who has some exciting things going on. And now I'm recording this podcast, right? Because I really want you all, like I said a few podcast episodes ago at the top of the new year, I really want you all to have the career education information that you need to make better sound career choices and decisions in 2023 and going forward. So if you've read the title to this podcast episode, you already know what it's going to be about. If you follow me on my Instagram page, you already know how I feel about social workers and these certifications. And I want to give the disclaimer because someone left it one time on an Instagram post about, I think people really do that, really, collect the certifications because it's a CEU requirement, right? And I completely understand that, but I want to give the, disclaimer that this conversation that I am having today is geared towards macro social workers. And if you don't know yet, you don't need a license to do macro level work, right? So I am not talking about CEUs and the requirement to have those trainings and certifications and all of the things. So let's be clear on that, okay? If you don't know that you don't need a license to do macro level work, I encourage you to visit my website, Macro and Paid, MacroandPaid.com. There will be a link down below in the show notes. Visit Macro and Pay and get access to my free e-course. It's free. Micro to macro. You can start right now educating yourself about macro social work, what it is, the career opportunities available in it, the salary earning potentials, the areas where macro work is occurring, and all of the things, right? I've spent endless hours curating the content of that e-course. So utilize it. It's a free resource. It's a labor of my love, right? Because I am on a mission to dispel all of the mistruths that are floating around on the social work internet streets about macro social work. And there are many, and it's deeply ingrained. So that is one way you can start by educating yourself about macro work. And believe me when I say that there is content in that course that you have never been exposed to in your standard social work class. So do yourself a favor. Visit macroandpaid.com and get access to that e-course. The responses to the content in that course is overwhelming. People are really enjoying it. All of the lessons, right? There are 7 lessons. You will get one each day. You should already, if you have listened to any of my other podcasts, or if this is your first one, please know that Marthea strongly encourages that you should be spending 1 hour of your day to professional development, right? 1 hour of your day, ideally the first hour of your work day, should be something related to your career. Even if you have entrepreneurial like goals, you should be doing something to expand your knowledge on your career in your area of expertise. And so that's one way that you can start, and you have a full week of lessons that will come straight into your email inbox, and you can read through them. I actually have links to outside content that I give you, because I wouldn't be a career coach. I wouldn't be the MSW coach if I didn't give you homework. So each one of those lessons come with homework while you wait on the next lesson to roll in. So start there, okay? So let's get into it, right? I posted one time on my Instagram page about social workers and these certifications. And there was an overwhelming response of social workers who agreed, like, I'm guilty of collecting certifications and not knowing how to use them, or just getting them because, right? And so I wanted to spend intentional time and space on this podcast episode to give you 3 reasons why you don't need another certification, specifically if you are interested in macro level work, right? And so just a brief introduction, because I just jumped into it. For those who this may be your first time listening to a podcast episode, maybe your social worker bestie forwarded this episode to you in my emails that I send. Oh, if you're not on my email list, get on my email list. Get on my email list. And one of the best ways to do that is by signing up for the free e-course, because I send weekly emails. So if this is your first time catching me, let me introduce myself. My name is Marthea, because I don't have a problem marketing myself, right? I teach social workers how to brand themselves professionally, right? So I have no problem talking about who I am and what I do and what my area of expertise is. And I do that to serve as a point of reference for other social workers to get comfortable in doing that, right? Because social workers love to say, like, employers don't know what we do. Truth be told, the onus is on you to educate them about what you do. What do you bring as far as expertise and value to an organization? So my name is Marthea Pitts. I am a 3-time award-winning workforce development career counselor and macro social worker. I am on a mission to help as many social workers as possible get into macro social work roles. If you are looking for the standard traditional like social work admin job, I am not your person. I am not on a mission to help social workers just stay in settings and organizations where other social workers are. I'm on a mission to get macro social workers in every setting, industry, and organization type in the world, right? As of today, I've helped over 100 social workers successfully make the transition from case management to macro social work roles, where they have 2, 3, 4 times or more their social work salaries, where they are in complete alignment in their social work careers, where they are happy, they are thriving, and they are no longer burnt out, overworked, and overwhelmed, and no longer underpaid. And the reason why I focus specifically on getting more macro social workers into the workforce is because I wholeheartedly believe that social workers are the answers to the issues of the world, right, that plague the world. And we need to be in more spaces where we are really working to challenge the status quo, create new ways of being and doing, specifically for the populations and the issues that we're most passionate about. So I really believe that social workers can blend the things that they are most passionate about with their social work career. And I help social workers reimagine their careers, right? So let's get into it. 3 reasons why you don't need another certification. And so again, a reminder, I said in 2023, I'm coming very different, right? I'm going to be talking real heavy, because I'm realizing that for a lot of you, this is the first time that you've ever been exposed to conversations about careers, jobs, all of the things, right? And I want to be clear that it's not just social workers, it's all professions. And the reason being is because you didn't get the conversation that we didn't get the conversations that we were supposed to get in middle school. This is where these conversations start about career exploration and about careers, right? And so that is why we oftentimes find ourselves in positions and jobs and careers where we're just not happy because we didn't know that we had a choice to be more proactive and really take a front seat approach to designing what we want our career lives to look like. A lot of people just apply to the first job they see on a job board. They accept the first job offer that is made, right? Even though they really don't want to do it, or they don't even know what they really want to do. Right. So I'm really on a mission to educate the masses. Like, you have a choice and the power lies with you. So 3 reasons why. So I'm talking real heavy in this episode. That was my point. So get your pen, paper, your note-taking device out. Let's get to it. 3 reasons why you don't need another certification. Reason number 1, macro work is not clinically or scientifically based like other professions such as medicine or STEM careers, right? Unless you decide to go in a specific area of that. And even then, it's slim to none, right? That they will require you to have special certifications. And I'm going to explain why, right? So with macro work, you're largely working to create new strategies and ways of being based on what is actually occurring in the world. And when it comes to that, there is no better training than your frontline experience, than your actual work experience. And so I'm going to like broaden my conversation in more general terms because I know people in other professions follow my work, which I love, right? Because I am the career designer and I help all professions design careers. That's what I do. That is my macro area of expertise. So I wanted to say that when focusing on social change, social impact work, macro level work, it's really based off of what your experience is. What are the gaps that you identified in your own work, in your own work history, like around an issue or a topic? It's not, and because these are new ways of being, there are no standard trainings or certifications that can be given to fix something that has never been addressed before, right? So it's a lot of out of the box thinking. And if people had the answers enough to create it in a certification course, the problem wouldn't exist. I hope that makes sense. So it's not like you're going to train to be a medical doctor. And of course, you need trainings, you need certifications, you need credentials, you need licensure, all of the things. But when we're dealing with macro work, it's really a lot of experimenting, trial and error, as far as what works best when dealing with these issues. What are new ways, strategies, ways of doing things that we can implement? What can we take from one area of like a profession and implement that, right? So there's no training out there, because if there was a training for it, the problem wouldn't exist because it would have been solved already. You're solving the unsolvable problems, right? So that's reason number 1. You don't need another certification. So reason number 2, hold on to your seat, because I told you I'm coming with the information to arm you all. And I'm sharing this all from a place of love and caring. And I want you all to be great. I want you all to get into the positions that you want to be in. So I'm in full career coaching mode. This is the version of me that my paid coaching clients inside of Micro to Macro, my Career Accelerator program, get from me every Sunday in our weekly coaching calls, right? So I'm really going to push you, but I'm pushing you with love and care. So reason number 2, why you don't need another certification. Many of you don't even know if the certification that you're going after is an actual requirement to get the job you want. Or better yet, even what types of jobs you can apply for outside of case management to use the certification in. Right? So my rule of thumb, just because I know social workers love certifications, is unless there is a guaranteed job placement that comes along with the certification program, you don't need it until you are clear on how to use the certification, how to market and compete for the job you want, and better yet, even what jobs you can get, right? You have to remember that education is big business. Certification programs are under the education umbrella, right? Even when you went to go get your MSW degree, that is higher ed marketing a program to you. So they are creating more and more certifications every day to get your money. But I believe, and this is what I teach my paid coaching clients, is that you should not be investing your own personal money into professional development. Your employer should. So certifications fall under the professional development umbrella. You should be creating your own professional development plans. You shouldn't be just relying on your employer's yearly little, haphazardly put together plans. You should be creating your own plan based on your career plan, right? And to fund the things that you have identified and outlined in your professional development plan, your employer should be contributing to that. Your current employer, your future employer. Why? Because any development, any training, any certification, any of the things that you get is just enhancing your skill set, which produces greater outcomes and results for their organization. Right? So you should not be investing your own personal money into your professional development. Your employer should. I talk very openly about like how my degrees, many of them I didn't pay for. I strategically found an employer that will fund them, right? So I have some content planned for my social media platforms in the next week or two to really talk more about how to get your employer to pay for your professional development trainings instead of you. So be sure to follow me on my social media platforms. Again, the links are on macroandpaid.com, or you can click the link down in the show notes and it'll take you there. I am now ramping up my presence on LinkedIn. Connect with me there. I am on Facebook at the MSW Coach. I'm on LinkedIn at the MSW Coach or Marthea Pitts. It'll take you all to the same place. And of course, my home base is Instagram, the_MSW Coach. So make certain that you set your alerts, set your notifications, because I'm going to really break down how you get your employer to pay for that for you. So that was reason number 2. Many of you don't even know if the certification is an actual requirement to get the job you want, right? And so learning or knowing or educating yourself about if this is even needed for the job, I'm going to talk about how you do that, right? Reason number 3, like I said, will piggyback off of number 2. The truth is, many of you don't know what you even want to do in your career. So that's why I talk so much about career planning and learning about what career opportunities exist outside of your geographical location, outside of your zip code, right? Career selection, job selection is heavily dictated around like your immediate point of reference. That's why when I worked in higher ed as an academic advisor, a lot of my students, I can even go as far as maybe saying a lot of my students will come in, and when I would ask them, even though it was a part of my work, my scope of work, but because I'm just always interested about all things careers and how people land and decide or choose their careers. And I would say, well, how did you choose that major? How did you decide that's what you wanted to do once you, complete college? And a lot of them will say, because my mother, my father, my godmother, my sister, my brother does a thing. And so I want to do that too. Right? So career selection is heavily, heavily, heavily influenced by your immediate frame of reference. But I'm telling you all today, and I will repeat it until again, because I said it already before. There are more opportunities out there for you that you have no idea about. You don't even know that they are a thing. If you tell me like you're passionate about a certain thing, I can point you in the direction of a job that blends that, right? And you probably didn't even know it was possible. So I'm saying that getting certifications before you're even clear about what it is that you want to do is it goes against each other. It's not flowing, right? And so many of you have decided on specific areas in your social work career because that's just the thing that people around you are doing, right? But I'm teaching you all, and I'm trying to help you unlearn just the status quo way of being when it comes to careers, that you can design the career that you want. It doesn't have to be something that already exists. Right? And you're just picking off of a list. You all know how I feel about those job title lists that float around on the social work internet streets, right? It's good for like social workers who are new to the field to learn about or be exposed to the conversation, but you need way more than a list. You need intensive career education, career exploration. So going back to what I said, many of you don't even know about like what exists outside of your zip code. So how can you get a certification if you're not sure what you even want to do? So what that looks like is you get a certification, you complete it, and then it just sits on your desk in a folder. You're not using it, you're not applying it, you're not using the knowledge in anything, right? Why get it? So I just want to say, like, collecting those certifications, to me, like your priorities may be somewhere different to me, because I'm on a mission to be like a good steward of my resources. To me, getting certifications and you're not even clear about what your end goal is in your career, and end goal could be in the next 5 to 10 years, or it can be, close to retirement, wherever you are in your career life, is a waste of money, time, and energy that can be used in other areas of your life. That is time that can be used in like pulling out your resume, dusting it off and updating it and applying to some jobs. If you want to sit through a certification, switch that out and apply to a job, right? Because many people, not just social workers, think that jobs just fall out of the sky. No, there's methods and techniques that you have to use in order to find jobs that you really want to do. And again, you have to approach it from a proactive standpoint. You can't just like apply to the first 2 jobs. That's how you end up in case management jobs you don't like. So instead of spending your time getting a certification that you're not even sure that you need, apply to a job. Read a job description. Right? So this goes back to number 2 when I said you don't even know if you need it. You haven't even read a job description lately. And social workers love to tell me like, oh, I need this. I have to have this. Show me the job description you read, a macro job description that you read where it said that, please. And then they always look like deer in headlights because you're not reading job descriptions, right? So then how do you know the certification is needed? You don't even know. Right? So I love you all, right? And I want the best for you. And I know you can tell I'm getting a little hype. I'm in full career coach mode. right? I'm a coach. I'm pushing you to greater because I want greater. I want social workers in macro spaces. And I get super passionate about all things career. Can you tell? Just like when I hear you all talk about the areas that you're passionate about outside of social work, you all get really excited. You go in detail, right? Blend that with your macro social work career. Get in alignment. So the goal in 2023 should not be to collect another certification that you don't use. The goal in 2023 should be to get in career alignment. Find things that you're passionate about and how can you blend that into your macro social work career where you can have something that you're passionate about, but while also creating change for your population. You're still serving. Get paid to do what you love, but also change the world at the same time. Right? And so career alignment doesn't just magically fall out of the sky. Career development, career planning is not an innate skill. We do not come out of the womb knowing how to develop in our careers, how to get jobs, how to apply for jobs, how to interview for jobs, how to market ourselves, how to progressively advance in our careers. That is not something you come out of the womb knowing. You have to spend time learning the skill. You have to build in intentional, an hour a day during the Monday through Friday of professional development. Not just to benefit your current employer, but to benefit you for your career life, right? So that's why I get so upset when when you message me, you're like, job titles, please don't ask me for a job title. You need more than that, right? Job titles are why you're in a case management job that you hate because you only searched and applied and took jobs that had in the job title or in the job description, or the organization does work only around case management, social services, direct practice, clinical therapy. It also may have said MSW degree, clinical licensure requirements. And you see where that has gotten. So we have to do more deeper work, right? And again, I'm on a mission to educate the masses that when it comes to your career, you have to do deeper work than to just get somebody to write your resume and give you some job titles. It's way more than that. Now, if you are okay with just like maintaining the status quo and being in jobs that you hate, and just going to collect your paycheck, that's fine. But I know for a lot of the social workers, if you follow me, you are heart-led individuals that want to change the world while also make your money doing something that you kind of enjoy, right? I'm not saying you should monetize every passion that you have because some of those passions need to be held close to your heart. And humans just have a way of making things bad sometimes, right? But we can blend in some of those other passions that you have. Many of you are multi-passionate. So again, the goal in 2023 should be to get in career alignment. And the way you do that is through getting career clarity, which is a result of guided career exploration, which is what I teach inside of my group career coaching program, Micro to Macro. Right? So you see how it's a process. It's a buildable process. You have to do some prerequisite things before you can get to the end result of being in a career that you enjoy, which is important for social workers, the people who I talk to. And it's important for anyone who's on a mission to change the world. So let's recap. The first reason why you don't need another certification: macro work is not clinically or scientifically based, right? Rewind if you need a recap on why I say that. Number two, many of you don't even know if the certification is an actual requirement to get the job. And reason number three, many of you don't even know what you want to do in your career as a whole, right? So you are really putting the horse before the cart, getting a certification, and you don't even know if this is something that you really want to do in the end because you don't know what opportunities exist in the world. That's the truth. So I really want you all to shift your lens, shift your approach, work really hard in 2023 to unlearn a lot of what you know about careers, right? And really start taking a proactive approach to designing a career that you enjoy, that you love, that insert whatever word that sparks joy in you, your dream career. So again, I'm in full career coach mode, but I'm sharing this information with you all because I love you and I want what's best for you, right? So if you're interested in getting more intensive support from me on designing a career, a macro social work career where you can thrive and you can really affect change, I announced this morning, or last night, registration is opening soon for cohort 9 of Micro to Macro. Micro to Macro is my group career coaching program where I teach macro social workers how to identify, apply, and interview for macro social work jobs in 3 months or less. Right? So write this down on your notebook. Cohort 9 registration will open Sunday, February 19th, 2023. It will be open for 6 days. This is the longest I ever had registration open. It's normally 4 days. And the last 2 cohorts filled up in those 4 days. So registration will open February 19th and it will close February 24th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to make this announcement every podcast episode up until then. I also want to announce here for the first time that I have completely changed the format of the program. So now instead of 6 weeks, which you used to get in the past, you're now going to get 6 months with me as your career coach, right? So what that will look like is you will get weekly sessions with me for the 6 months to pick my brain, have full access, and then you'll also have full access to the micro to macro curriculum. And the reason why I expanded the program from 6 weeks to 6 months is because I know firsthand personally in my own pivot to macro social work, the importance of community and someone that you can come to and like bounce ideas off of when you land your first macro job, right? So typically, if you use the techniques, the strategies, if you really like make it your own, people land macro jobs in 3 months or less, but there's no guarantee of employment. This is not a certification program, so I can't give you a guarantee of employment because it's all about how you use and apply the techniques that I teach you, the proven methods that I've created. And so I know the importance of needing like community. I've learned that a lot in the last 2 cohorts, the last 3 workshops that I've offered. And I know that in my own pivot to macro social work, I was the only macro social worker I knew. I was the only social worker on staff, right? So I really want to create more intentional space for cohort participants that come through the program to have more time with me, right? And to really work at their own pace on the content in the program. So now the program will be 6 months instead of 6 weeks, and you get weekly sessions with me. But I told y'all last year, the price did go up. I gave warning for like 30 to 60 days that the price in 2023 is going up, and it will continue to go up. Right? It will continue to go up because I'm adding more and more. I'm investing lots into my own professional development to bring you a comprehensive program. Right? So registration will open February 19th. It will close February 24th. If you want to receive priority notification, priority enrollment, because registration does fill up fast, I encourage you to visit macroandpaid.com or click the link down in my show notes and join my free waitlist, because I will give people on the wait list priority enrollment to secure their spots. So I know this is a lot. This is your professional development of the day. If you listen to this and you are really taking what I gave you and thinking about applying it to your decision when you are faced with one about getting another certification. We don't need another certification. We need to get clear on what it is that we want to do first, right? And then we need to read job postings. And that will also help you gauge, like, do I really need the certification? And 9 times out of 10, no, you do not. So I'm going to end there. I hope your day is wonderful whenever you are listening to this podcast. I got an email the other day from a social worker. Oh my goodness, I don't remember where she said she was. Somewhere in Asia, traveling the world. So my podcast is all over the world. I love it. You all give me feedback and send me emails all the time about the most recent episode that you listened to and the valuable content that you got out of it. I love it. You all fuel my work, right? Which is a part of my 3Ps framework, which I'll create a whole podcast episode around that. So I encourage you to start today, right? Let's move from just collecting certs. Let's move away from that. We're not in tech where we need certifications, just as an example. So I hope your day is well. I hope the remainder of your week is wonderful. Happy macro career planning. Bye.